call this Board of Education meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a jam-full packed agenda today, and Dr. Johnson was reminding me that we need to encourage everyone to attend the entire meeting today, so please consider staying after your part's done. At this time, I accept a motion to approve the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda with the following amendment: additional certified and classified personnel actions, item B3.
A motion to approve the agenda by Jean. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Tim. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. I'll go ahead and start with Dr. Carlin, and then if we need to back up, we can do that.
Thank you, Madam President. You board members, you may or may not be aware, but January is School Board Recognition Month. And so we want to thank you for your service. Many in the community may or may not be aware that unlike other elected positions that we have in Kansas, being a member of the school board does not come with any pay. The time that you put in being a school board member is time that you're not compensated for in any way other than the satisfaction of providing a valuable service to the kids and to our community. So we want to extend a thank you. I think you've got a little thank you sack that Health Services provided. So not only are you getting thanked, but you're probably getting put in good health by what will be inside there. But we have a certificate that we'd like to present to each of you tonight for your outstanding service. So first, Dr. Gloria Hopkins. Thank you. Jennifer Stanley. Jean Cooper. Laura Boers. Dana Naniga. Mark Rude. And Tim Cruz.
Great. We do have one request for public comment. Mr. Davidson, if you'd like to come forward and you'd like to use the podium, you may. And we do limit it to 5 minutes if you don't mind.
It's more about questions more than anything. What I'm looking for is, we're talking this year that the high school is only going to have 7 hours of classes. Unfortunately, the people at the high school can't give us a straight answer to find out. My daughter is a sophomore this year. She's looking to graduate next year. So the requirements that we're trying to figure out for her is what she's going to have to complete this year and next year to graduate as a junior. What I'm wanting to know is that next year's classes are going to be 7 periods or 8 periods. I mean,
And that is on the agenda today.
Okay.
We can't give you an answer because I believe the vote will probably be at the next meeting.
okay.
But I would encourage you to stay for that part of the presentation.
Okay, because with this semester going through, she doesn't know what she's going to have to complete at this point, if she can get another class in this semester, if she has to, in order to complete for her graduation next year. The requirements for the class of 2017, we're getting conflicting information from counselors and teachers. Some are saying she has to have 26.5 credits. Some are saying she only has to have 25 credits. No, we can't find an answer for that. So I'm looking for that and what the requirements are. Mrs. Smith, the counselor in the Blue Academy, is the one that's advising 25 credits. And Renee Scott advises that the class of 2017 isn't affected by this new requirement of 24 and a half credits rather than 26 and a half. So those are just answers I'm looking for so that I can get my daughter through high school, through junior year to graduate and move on to college.
Madam President, if you would, before you leave tonight, if you'll leave me your phone number, I'll call you tomorrow and I'll walk you through the specifics of this as Mrs. Moore shared. You're catching us right in the middle of a transition, and certainly we want to make this work as smoothly as possible, but those people really can't give you final answers until we have a decision. But I will stay in touch with you and keep you as informed as possible so we can make this work as smoothly as it can go.
Okay, one other question I have for you, Dick. If this transition goes through and that she's still required at 26 and a half credits, and they move to a 7-period class next year, which is going to short her, will she be able to get into a night class or evening class? She's been taking college courses and everything else. Will she be able to still get into something this semester to complete what she needs to go through a 7-year period next year?
We're going to work with you and her to make sure that this doesn't have a negative impact. So, but I can't give you specifics until we look at the whole picture. And I know Mr. Nordby is aware of it, and Ms. Scott's aware of it. We can't give you a definite answer until some decisions are made at this level.
Okay. All right. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. I have another request that I believe has about 3 different names on it. Is there a spokesperson for the group with regard to the?
Is it all right if 4 high school teachers?
Well, I'm just wondering if you have a spokesperson for one person speaking, or are you each individually asking for 5 minutes?
No, a total of 5 minutes if that.
Okay. I'm just trying to get clarification. Please come up if you can identify who you each are. So I think it's Jen Herdman, Janet Koch, Buddy Smithson, and Drew Vaughn. Am I reading it correctly?
Yeah, we can introduce. My name is Janet Cook. Hello.
I'm Jen Herdman.
Here, Tom.
Dr. Bud Smithson.
And we just wanted to give maybe just one tidbit each about benefits that we think for the 7-period day. So I'm just going to start out that I believe that repetition is key. I teach a science course, and so I wanted to talk about the curve of forgetting and just leave this statistic with you. It says after 24 hours removed from learning new information, it's estimated that we lose about 40% of that new information. If we wait another 24 hours, we have lost a total of 60% of that information. And if I don't see my kids every single day, then that's what we're doing on a block schedule right now. So I just want to leave you with that statistic.
I think one of my bigger concerns is that activities and sports are a huge part of high school, and I'm definitely for it. But our problem is we're such a remote high school that our students have to travel and miss school often, quite often. I know last spring I missed the track kid, my 5th hour track kids for an entire week. I didn't see them. This fall I had tennis girls that I missed 3 class periods in a row on block scheduling. And if we were on a 7-period day and I saw them every day, I would see them in between those and I would be able to catch them up a lot faster. Also, instead of missing 85 minutes of instruction, they're only missing 50 minutes of instruction that they have to pick up. So because of our school location and because of how important activities are, that was one reason why I think the 7-period day would be better.
Drew, do you have?
Go ahead.
Dr. Bud Smithson, and I'd been an administrator in Oklahoma at a career tech center where we had feeder high schools that came to our school. And it was interesting because all 4 schools were on a different schedule. And so basically my part of the committee when we were on it was to take a look at logistics. So I certainly agree with Dr. Carlin. You kind of caught us, as a parent, helping you out with that. I remember when my own son switched over from the 7-period to the block schedule, there were all these questions. The one thing we have here at Garden City that we also had when I was at Eastern Oklahoma County was the simple fact we have a lot of caring, dedicated instructors that are going to make whatever transition work. That's probably the strongest thing that I could offer to you as a parent. Logistically, when we sat down and worked out the math and went through the time periods, it did work. We were able to get more credits. There was a reduction in credits because we have a reduction of hours in the day from 8 to 7, which is the biggest math problem. But then to be able to allow the mentoring, and it's funny, when you go back and look at a schedule, you lay it out all for the academic reasons, you really come back, it's got to work with the bus drivers, the custodial staff, and the kitchen staff. It truly does. We're able to line up the lunches, we're able to line up the buses, we're able to make all of the mathematics work of it. So it's a great plan to take a look at. Probably the biggest thing you have going for you, and it permeates from the top down, is the way Dr. Carter was ready to take your name and write down, keep you informed of that, because you have a very peculiar specific need. If your daughter's going to graduate in, will she graduate at the end of her junior year is her plan?
Correct.
In the program that we lined out, because most of our students do take advantage and graduate a semester early, your daughter being pretty unusual to graduate a whole year early, this plan also allowed for our students to be able to graduate halfway through their senior year like the majority do. I'm sure your daughter's needs can be met, and she's probably pretty academically dedicated to make some of that work, true? So from the top down all the way through to us, having carrying a dedicated staff on the whole committee, and then also went to a vote of the group, of all the teachers and passed, I think that's the biggest thing we have going for us, okay?
Much like these guys said, I teach in the freshman academy, somewhat different than the rest of my colleagues here. But at the freshman academy, we see a lot of young kids coming into our educational system from middle schools that do not have block scheduling. Because of that, many of the lower level students oftentimes struggle with the longer 90-minute period days. We believe that this will help alleviate a lot of those problems. On top of that, we do have quite a few freshmen that are active in multiple things, and like was said before, whether it's softball, freshman baseball, whatever it may be, there's oftentimes on Tuesday, Thursdays that they'll be gone in the afternoon and miss a whole week of school in the afternoon, and may follow that up and miss a Monday. So to us, this alleviation of the block schedule to a shorter 7-period day would prevent whole weeks of lessons from being missed.
And to go with what you said, I don't think it's just the freshmen that struggle. I mean, I think even as us as adults would say that 90 minutes sitting there concentrating is rough. It's rough.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Cessna, I believe one of the many hats that you wear, you are also a long-serving chair of the CARE committee with the Chamber of Commerce, correct?
Yes, I
Can you
am.
explain what that is?
The CARE committee is one of the many committees that works with the Chamber of Commerce, and it actually is the Crystal Apple Committee. And I've served on that committee for 13 years now as the chair for that committee. This last year was the 20th anniversary of the Crystal Apple Teacher Recognition Program. The program is made up of representatives of the Chamber of Commerce from business community, and it honors 6 outstanding teachers every year from Finney County. This program is funded through and sponsored by businesses in the community that are committed to the belief that sponsored by businesses that they must take the initiative in creating a strong, thriving educational system. This year's presenting sponsor for the Crystal Apple was Bohr's Law, along with a number of other committee or businesses in the community. I'd like to bring up the 2015 Crystal Apple teachers to have them recognized. If they would please come forward. We have Jessie Bernal, who is the Garden City High School teacher. We have Barbara Mercer, who is from Buffalo Jones Elementary School. And then we have Roger Reed, who is from Charles O. Stone's Intermediate Center. These are the 3 Crystal Apple teachers for 2015. Now there are 6 finalists. The three, let me go back. The 3 Crystal Apple teachers did receive some very nice gifts. They received a Crystal Apple that was engraved, of course, because it's called the Crystal Apple. They received a $1,000 cash reward, and they also received an iPad from one of the sponsors, so to go towards their education and teaching. So along with that, we also had 6 finalists or 3 finalists, Donnie Lensman from Kenneth Henderson Middle School, Lyle Silva from Garden City High School, and Lana Ratliff from Holcomb Middle School. And they were the 3 finalists, and they received a cash award of $250. This whole process is pretty extensive. It starts out where in April, we send out nomination forms to the schools and throughout the community, actually, throughout Finney County, to have not only teachers, parents, staff members, students nominate teachers that they think are well-deserving of this award. In June, they get a nomination packet that they fill out, which is pretty extensive. Then in September, we go through a blind read process. October, it whittles it down to 12. In October, we have an interview process that whittles it down to 6. And then end of October, 1st of November, we actually have 3 committee members go out and do an observation process that whittles it down to our 3 finalists, or 6, from our 6 finalists to our 3 Crystal Apple teachers. So it's a pretty extensive process that we go through to get these very highly acclaimed teachers in our community. And every year we always get 3 outstanding teachers, and it is a painstaking process, and it really is hard to get the final 3 because we have outstanding teachers that we get nominated and that apply for this award. The program honors outstanding teachers in Finney County for their efforts in teaching children. The program also demonstrates the teachers are important and that they are recognized and appreciated in Finney County. So the program goes a long ways to recognizing not only teachers but education in our community. Again, the 3 Crystal Apple teachers are here, so if you want to congratulate them and recognize them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And after hearing all of that, doing that for 13 years, thank you, Mr. Cessna.
Sure, you're welcome.
I understand that we have some, I guess, birthday celebrants, I would say. The 60th birthday for Jenny Barker, and all the Bobcats appear to be here, or a lot of them as
Yes,
well.
yes. We're doing more than celebrating 60 years, although that's what we've spent a large part of our last week celebrating, but this was our, I guess it's biannual time to come and share with the board what's happening north of town. And so most of the staff is here to share bits and pieces about what's going on at Jenny Barker. My name's Karen Merle. This is my first year as principal at Jenny Barker. I split my time between Jenny Barker and Bernadine Sitz. And I hope that you had the chance to check out the newspaper tonight, because we did have a big 60th celebration where many members of the community came to see about the time capsule that we dug up, and they'll tell a little bit more, but it was an exciting time and a good reminder to me exactly what the building means to a lot of people in this community. So I'll turn it over to my staff. We have a little presentation. We talked about this, and I said we only have a few minutes, and then we started compiling the slides, and there's like 22 of them. I said we have to cut it down. We can't take 22 minutes.
I'm Debbie Adler. I teach reading for 3rd grade and 4th grade. And what I have today is I have some of the data that we pulled up for the last 3 years. This is coming from the Ames web. And when our children take this test, they're leveled at either above level, below level, or below grade level. And as you can see, 3 years ago, above level is about 52% in the fall. And then throughout the year, we raised it up to 65%. And as we raised that level up, the other 2 levels decreased. And that's exactly what we wanted. The one thing that's nice, the next year we came back and our fall scores were even higher, and so we actually built it up to the point of we're at 82% last year in the spring. That was 82% of our children were above grade level. And then we had 14% below grade level, and then only 4% of our students were what we call below grade level. This is just below level, and this is below grade level. So it shows that we've really grown as far as teaching our kids and developing that fluency that they need. This year we started off with fall, and we're at 67.9 at above level. Below level is 23, and grade level below is right around 8%. So we're actually starting higher every year we've given this test. So hopefully we'll be even higher than this last year. So we're just really proud of our students. They do a lot of work. They work hard. They're just a great kids to work with. So.
All right, we have our math.
Who are you?
Oh, yes. I'm Julia Pate. I am the literacy coach and the ESL interventionist at Jenny Barker.
And I'm Marcia Taylor, and I am the math coach at Jenny Barker.
So we have our math data. NCAP is math concepts and applications, and then MComp is computation problems, like those kids don't like to hear it, but naked number problems. Okay, so our scores in math are pretty steady, and of course we have had new curriculum, and we're finding some growth, and our teachers are working hard to overcome any challenges that they may have found with the new curriculum. And so do you have anything, Marcia, you would like to say?
No, I have enjoyed working at Jenny Barker this year with the math teachers. This is one of 3 schools that I go to. So I didn't get to help very much with this, compiling this data.
Okay. Just to let you know what we do with the data when we get it, it just doesn't just sit there. We actually analyze our screening data, and then we do whatever additional testing is needed to determine appropriate intervention placement if an intervention is needed. And the goal of intervention is not to be stuck there forever, but to move up and out and into enrichment. And so just a few of those, we work together to do either a quick phonics screening or assessment and diagnostic decoding surveys. And our teachers and interventionists also do progress monitoring to make sure that students are making adequate progress in their interventions, and so that we can analyze if we need to beef up the interventions, or we can see what we're doing right and correct whatever might be going on.
We do have math interventions this year with the students who do not qualify for reading but do qualify for math.
We brought some special people to tell you a little bit about interventions. That's probably one of the things that we shifted around the most at the beginning of the year, just to get kids what they needed with the staff and the resources that we had available for enrichment and intervention. And so I'll let these ladies and gentlemen tell you a little bit about their walk to enrichment or walk to intervention.
Okay, I'm Gail Jackson, and I teach 1st grade, and I brought my guest with me so she can explain a little bit about what we do in our math interventions.
Hi, my name is Brecken Percival, and I am a 2nd grader in Mrs. Jackson intervention group. We practice math every day on the iPads by playing different games. We also practice on lanes.
I'm Mrs. Bolden. I'm the librarian and art teacher. I have 2 enrichment groups. I work with 1st and 2nd graders in the morning and 3rd and 4th graders in the afternoon. I have a couple of my guys here. If you guys want to go ahead and speak.
My name is Zach Kitch, and I'm a 2nd grader. I go to Miss Bolden's enrichment group. This year we've done things like word bingo, play games, and sing songs. We practice reading when we do this.
My name is Aubrey Kitch, and I am in 1st grader. I am a 1st grader in Mrs. Bolden's group. We are raising money for the animal shelter. We made posters and talked to the school about our goal of $160. So far we have raised over $45.
Okay, and I'm Carla Cherico. I'm a 2nd grade teacher. I also teach an enrichment group with kiddos. Mine are kindergartners and 1st graders, and I don't think any of mine came.
No, but we do have
But
a
we
couple
do
of
have a
extra
couple.
kids that, do you want to go ahead and, Lucky, and
Go ahead.
My name is Lucky Cherko, and I am in the 3rd grade. I go to Miss Sadler's intervention group. We read a passage every week, and then we get on a website called Raz Kids that helps us read better and score better on the Ames Web test. We sound words out, and we practice making words.
My name is Kane Sekvik, and I'm in 6th grade. I'm in Miss Taylor's group. We work on math problems, and some of these we do on computer, and we play games. I feel like I am getting better at math scores on the 8-minute test or Ames Web, and I'm also part of the school's bank. I'm on the marketing team.
My name is Matthew Horney. I teach 3rd and 4th grade math and 3rd grade social studies. And I'm going to talk about some of the healthy stuff that we got going on at our school. And this is...
I'm Teresa Yates, the school nurse, and our Jenny Parker does outstanding with promoting good health for kids. So he's going to talk about it.
All right. One club that we're a part of is the 100 Mile Club. And our goal is to have the students walk or jog 100 miles. And for every mile that they walk or run, it helps the other schools in the billion-mile race that they got going on. So it's kind of like 1 mile double bonus kind of thing going on. Lots of fun and exciting things with that. And as the students do their laps around the track, they get little foot charms to help us keep track of when they're getting their miles. So they're really motivated by it, and we do marks on their hands as they go by, and they just love it. We have Health Week coming up, January 25th to the 28th. On Monday, we're going to have our Nutrition Day. Tuesday, we have physical activity, and we do this thing called Jam and Minute. And that's where we stop our instruction, and for a minute, we all get to stand up and dance. It's kind of awkward as a grown-up, but when the kids start getting up and dancing, it kind of helps us get along with it as well. Our health night is from 6 to 7:30, also on Tuesday, so if you want something to do on Tuesday, come out and join us. We'd love to see you. Wednesday, we wear red for heart health. Thursday, we're doing mental health. And then Friday, we're going to be safe. There's no school, so we're going to tell everybody to make sure you wear your seatbelts as you're driving around town. For our health night, we get volunteers that come up from the community college. We have some nurses or some students working on their nursing program. They come up, talk about health, check blood pressure, and we really appreciate the volunteers that come up. And then also in my class, we get to dissect pig lungs and hearts that get donated by Planks here in town, or Hirschman's. So very wonderful. Kids love that. Grown-ups love it as well. So that's it for health.
Thank you. I am Jessie Smith. I teach 6th grade. They're my homeroom, but I just teach reading and writing for both the 5th and 6th graders. So I get to talk about our 60th anniversary.
I'm Gianna Miller, and I teach kindergarten.
So one thing we did to celebrate was we took 3 days out of the week. One day the kids dressed up as past, one present, and one future. So they had a lot of fun with that, and this is our science teacher dressing up as the past. This is pictures of our opening the time capsule. Sixth graders aren't typically enthusiastic about a lot, but they were so excited about this, as were all the kids, and it was so fun. Here's where they dug it out, so that was fun.
It was huge.
Yes, it was. They asked about it all day long. What time, what time, what time? And then these are some things that were in it. So right here we have a lot of the kids wrote a paragraph that started off, "In 20 years I will be." And then this is a kindergarten class. At the time they made a quilt for the letter Q. And then on the side over here they had a movie, and it just had a taped of the award ceremony. And then they had some popular items from 1996, which were kind of fun. Jellies, jelly shoes, some t-shirts, some sunglasses, and then there were some newspaper articles in there. There's some more papers up there about "in 20 years I will be," or "it will be," or just describing it in 20 years. And then these are some letters from the basketball team, some pictures, and some more newspaper articles that we pulled out.
Items from 56, 76, and 96.
And Jonetta came and spoke with each class. She spoke to 2 classes at a time and gave them some background about Jenny Barker. And again, my older kids were very excited about that, and it was just really neat to have her there and explain that.
On Saturday, we opened up the school to the community, and so we had a little birthday celebration, and we had a cake made by a parent, I believe, and it was very delicious. There was quite a bit of community that came through past. We have the past principal, Suzanne Smith, there, and Jonah came again and was giving the presentation to anybody who wanted to in the library. The Gosses, they all went to school out there, and now Karen is at our school now. And then this is just some more people in there looking at the goodies.
And I am going to also talk about science because she's going to be here tonight. So this first picture is some of the kids just trying out different science tools and experiments. And then this is, she had the zoo come out, and he was explaining habitats and animal survival, and looks like he brought an animal with him. So.
And this last slide here, or near the end, the last slide, is our site council. That is something else that was on paper when I started, but I don't know how active they were. I think it was typical of a lot of schools, and so that's been up and running. We've had a couple of meetings. These are our members, and I think we have a couple of them here. Andy is here, and I think that might be it. Some of them, several emailed me. Oh, up here, Jennifer. She told me she was going to be here. She said, I can do that. And several of them emailed me and said they might not be able to make it. So that's been an exciting process to unfold, and I appreciate their input. I'm looking still for a farmer out in that community, but I'm related to so many of them. I want somebody who's not my relative, so I'm still looking, but I'll find somebody. So, and I think Cecil is our custodian, and she's here tonight too, and she's a very important part of our school. She's a one-woman show and does everything, and we appreciate her very much, so thank you for coming. Is that okay? This is our last thing, and this is something that the PTO put on the back of our t-shirts for celebrating 60 years, and I thought it was very appropriate for our Bobcats and what we have to look forward to for the next 60 years. So, do you have any questions for us?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Kids, do you want to come up? I'm going to hand out a flyer. I talked to Leanne about this. We are, this is a side note, somebody that I've worked with for 20 years Old as the Time Capsule. Melissa Hancock at K-State helped me write a grant to talk about Not Your Mom's Math Lesson. I had to take the Texas out of it. She wanted to say, "This ain't your mama's math lesson," and I said, I don't know if we can do that. So there's a flyer here for you guys to take.
Turn it back so we can shake your hand.
You don't know, you better. Yeah. I love your name, it's pretty cool. Thanks for coming, guys.
Well, thank you all for coming, I appreciate it. Joanne, do we have any correspondence? At this time, then I'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda as amended.
A motion by Jean, is there a second? Seconded by Mark. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.